Hoy en Mente Hispana,
How to make myself a better employee. So a leader leads with intention.
Welcome again to Mente Hispana, the thought leadership show, where we hear from Hispanic leaders who are building, transforming, and inspiring. Our today's guest is someone who is making big waves in two very important areas: financial protection and personal motivation. Serena Miranda is a seasoned insurance broker with nearly 6 years of experience helping families and business owners protect their matter most, their homes, goals, business, and their future. She leads with empathy, education, and empowerment. But Sirena is also a voice of motivation and resilience. As the host of Let's Talk Motivation, she brings weekly inspirations to real conversations to help others move forward with purpose in life and business. Serena, it's a pleasure to have you here on Mente Hispana. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
No, it's our pleasure. For those meeting her for the first time, Serena Miranda is a bilingual entrepreneur, certified insurance broker, podcast host, and a speaker dedicated to clarity and confidence, with background in both property and casualty and life insurance. She's helped hundreds of clients across North America understanding their options and plans for the future. Serena, give us a quick look into your journey. How did you get into the world of insurance and what motivated you to start your insurance business?
Well, we started Net Worth Insurance Services in 2019. I want to say it was because we were motivated to sell insurance, but really it was more of a tragic story. A good friend of ours passed away unexpectedly and had canceled his life insurance 6 months prior to his death. And it was a very shocking lives because at that time our children were the same age. His wife, my friend, was left with a lot of uncertainty. And my husband and I sat around and were like, this is so like it was just so emotional. We own a real estate company as well. So that's our primary business, is a real estate brokerage here in Texas. I told my husband, I said, we should be able to spread the word, get your life insurance. It's not that expensive. So that's how it started. It started as just a life insurance agency, and we both got our license. But like most things, when it's not your main job, it was kind of put to the side. So when I turned 50 in 2023, I just kind of woke up one day and I said, I like to say, I demoted my husband and I said, I'm going to take over the insurance agency and I'm going to make it grow. So I gave myself a 5-year plan, and that was in 23, and it has really grown. And I both licensed in P&C and life and health. And I told my husband, I'm going to rebrand it. I have a different vision for it. And he said, go ahead. I'm here to support you. Lo que quieres, aquí estoy. And I said, okay. So that's kind of how it shot off in 2023.
Wow, that's a great story because 2023 was the year where the pandemic was ending, right? At the beginning of
Yes.
2023. So you have seen all these things happening before, and then you are answering to a certain circumstance that the world was living in. And it was like a response. I was on this trajectory, but I want to do it better for all people and for our family. So let's hit that opportunity. And it's awesome that you got the support of your husband.
Oh, yes. And what's interesting, in 2020, we were all kind of just sitting around on the couch. I remember being on the couch and Greg Abbott, the governor, said, if you want at the time I was only licensed in life and health. He said, if you want another license, you don't have to take the test right away. You don't have to take the courses. Just pay $30 and get insured and start working. So that's how I got my P&C license. I was sitting there and then I just started calling all the carriers and getting signed up, because my husband and I, we like to do things, build it on our own. So I didn't join a network like majority of insurance brokers or agents do, because I wanted my book of business to be mine. I didn't want anyone to say, this is not your client, they're our clients. And so I specifically chose insurance carriers that would help my clients, people that I know what they need. So I just didn't want to be in one big group. I wanted it to be almost like boutique, right? I wanted to be unique, and I choose the carriers that can help my clients.
No, definitely. When it's yours, I mean, when you're not working for a third party, when it's yours, the service that you deliver to your clients, it's because not only you care about them, but they are your clients. So there's like the long mile for you because you are here with me and I'm selling you this, so I'll go with you all the way. A quick question before we start digging more on the health insurance services. You were once an educator, right?
Yes, I was a teacher. I was a bilingual teacher.
How does that background influence you today in what you do?
Well, I think I've always been in some way really enjoying that part of my character is educating. When I was in Whether I was a young woman in high school and then in college, I chose bilingual education because that was my background. My mom is from Mexico, and my abuelita never spoke English. She just happens to be she was born in the US but raised in Mexico. The Spanish language was part of my life. It was part of my upbringing. So when I went to college, I went here to UTSA, the University of Texas at San Antonio, and decided to be a bilingual teacher. As that evolved, I ended up in 2017, I came to help my husband in the real estate business because he was like, "We're growing, it's booming. Either I need to hire somebody or you come work with me." And I was like, "Hello, I'll quit. I'll come work with you." So I did education. I was the compliance, I do all the operations. So it's just part of my character, I think, is to make sure that my clients understand what they're getting, what the risk is. So even in insurance, I feel like I'm educating everybody, my small business owners or my families that need certain specific care.
During this process where you were transitioning from being an educator, then to life insurance, and now to having your own business and growing everything, do you have or you remembered someone that helped you with like mentorship that impacted you and guide you through this process? It could be a family member or a leader who would really inspire you. So, do you have someone?
Well, my father, who passed away in 2011, very entrepreneurial. So he was prior to his diagnosis of cancer, he was a developer. He owned properties. He developed a piece of property out here in Bernie, Texas, and he just was always looking for that business. I think at one time he owned a shrimp farm out in Buda, Texas. He's been part owner of a restaurant, so I could see his need to like dabble in different things. And so I think that I get a lot of that from him. And then my abuelita was an entrepreneur. She worked for, I want to say, in El Paso, Texas for 30 years to in a maquiladora in Farah, making jeans. But on the side, she had her little empresa. She did sewing and made wedding dresses. So she always had a side job. So I grew up seeing that, she's sewing, measuring people in her little garage that she makeshifted into a sewing room. When she moved here to San Antonio with us, we got her a house, and my husband created the sewing room again for her, and she lived to be 101.
Wow.
So she just passed away in 2024 or 23, I can't remember. It feels like a blur because I feel like she's still with us, but she lived to be 101, and to the day she was still sewing my clothes, hemming. So it's just something that's in us. I think my family, the women and the men in my family, are very entrepreneurial.
I love that. You have entrepreneur blood in your veins, so
Yes.
that's what impulses you to create and to do better. And one thing you said at the beginning that your husband and you want to do things for yourselves, not for others. So that's
Yes.
something very entrepreneurial that it's always looking for opportunities within the needs that we have. How can we explode them? So it's
Hmm.
amazing. Other thing, I have my granddad from my mother's side, he is 96 years old. and he is still working.
It's that generation.
I mean, he's good in his mind, and he's taking care of my grandmother. I have an aunt that has Down syndrome, and he's still
Mhm.
taking care of her. And
Yeah.
he's always taking. He is a developer. He owns a lot of land, and he's still lending the land, selling the land, and he's still doing that. My mother said that if we take him away from his job, he will die, because that's the way they're built. They were built. Like, I'm all in what I do. I need purpose, and that's what it's keep me rolling. In the case of your grandma, she was still at that 101 doing these things that give her purpose in order to serve others, and that keep her alive. And it's amazing. And in this line, I know how or why did you start Talk Motivation? I know it has become a powerful platform.
Yes.
How did it begin? How this project begin?
Well, I'm really interested, similar to you, how people start their businesses and how you survive, because being a self-employed and owning a business, it's hard and it's
Yeah.
tough. And you're going to get brick walls and no's, and sometimes you want to quit, and it's like, do we all have that? So that's kind of how it started. I wanted to hear the story of the women. A lot of the people I interview are women. They either started their business as young mothers because they need extra money because they're staying home with their kids, or in like what I did at 50, I said, I want to do something that's just for me, and started, I took over the insurance agency and made it my own. So there's so many different levels of entrepreneurs. And then I think back to in 2008, my husband was a mortgage broker. I like to tell everybody we survived the crash of '08, but I had to go back to work. I had to leave my babies and go back to the school and start teaching again, because my husband, I mean, literally we went from money in the bank to no money in the bank, no business coming in. So he had to reinvent himself and start over. Those are the stories of resilience, parents, and a lot of these business owners have similar stories. And it's like the motivation, how do you get through that? How do you go from hard times to some great successes, and how do you firewall your business so you don't go through those things again and you learn from those mistakes? So I like to know more about people.
No, no, it's amazing. While I was listening to you, I was thinking of the story of the people that I admire, the businessmen, how they started their own companies. Um, in the morning, I was hearing a podcast about uh, a businessman here in Mexico in the southeast, from Merida, that he didn't finish the bachelor's degree. Like, he was all about work and doing this, and it's amazing how to inspire this. I was also thinking about my own path through this entrepreneurship path, and yeah, you have your highs, you have your lows, you have your good moments, you have your bad moments. But what I was thinking in myself, and what is that makes you keep going?
Exactly.
And the answer in my head, for me, it's the word hope.
Mm,
For me, the thing that keeps me rolling, it's hope. We started this company 4 years ago, and we had a lot of ups and downs. It's an international company. We have offices in 5 different countries. Then we
wow.
have to close three of them, and we just kept two of them. We had 52 people under our responsibility hired by us, and then we have to let them go because it was really, really hard. We learned from our mistakes, and now we're keeping going. The question, why do you keep going? It's because I got hope. And hope in what? If the more I can grow and move forward, the more I can help others. Because I know that what we do, it's a service for others. It's profitable, and that's why we can give jobs to people and spread through the community. What I my hope it's equal to serving others. So in that manner, that's what gives me the fuel in the morning when I don't have money in the bank, or I don't have the clients, or the investor is telling me lies and I'm believing
Yeah.
him. But it's
I
amazing.
totally agree. I remember because I would always interview my abuelita and I would ask her questions. Because she was a single mom. She left my grandfather very young they were from Durango, Mexico. And she got on a burro and train and took her babies and her parents to Juarez. But again, she was a US citizen, so she couldn't work in Juarez. And I would ask her, I'd say, how did you do it? And she'd go, and her tema, she would say, siempre adelante. Nunca voltea para atrás. And and you could just see it in her face. I can't wait to share it on social media because it's so powerful. Siempre para adelante y no voltea para atrás. Y un paso y termina lo que empezaste y continúa. And I was like, oh my gosh. So now that's my compass. And I share it with my kids. And I'm like, if your grandmother can live to 101 years old with that passion to go forward, just keep going, even when adversity hits her, I'm like, this life is easy. We have it easy compared to her in the 50s and the 40s and all by herself with 3 babies. So that's my
No,
compass right now.
no, and I love the phrase. I mean, I'm going to use
Mhm.
it.
Yes.
Always move forward, siempre para adelante, not
Yeah.
looking back, no
Yeah.
viendo hacia atrás.
Nope.
I
Yeah, and
like it.
she was a very spiritual grandmother, so, her rosary was very important to her.
And I've learned that that's something that our grandparents passed through us, because my granddad, it's just the same. He's always in the morning praying, in the night praying, and in the afternoons moving forward, not looking back. And that's something that I see him as an example of life, and I copy him because I want to be like him, at least half of what he is when I am 96,
I
if
know.
God's grant me this benefit of being 96 years old. One of the things that I did last Christmas is to record a podcast with my grandfather. Uh,
Right.
not for the audience, but for myself and my kids in the future. Like,
That's right.
this was your grandfather, this was your great grandfather, my grandfather, and this is how he thinks. This is the tone of his voice. This is what he did. This is the advices he gave me that now I'm passing through you. Now that we have technology, I mean, I sat down with him, I poured him a caballito de tequila,
Yeah,
and we start talking, just a conversation, and then I have these beautiful recordings that are like gold that I can share with my kids when they are of age. So to everyone listen, and if you haven't, I recommend this exercise because it's worth every single effort you have to do in order
yes.
to have these treasures with you.
I totally agree. Your
Your
parents
parents,
interview
your
your
grandparents,
grandparents.
yeah.
And one of the things I did with her was I asked her, so she had 6 great grandkids. I have 3 children and my sister has 3 children. And I would ask her, "Abuelita, dale un consejo a Marco." And then she would give her little consejo. And then got through all the grandkids, and then my mother's name is Magdalena. And I said, "Abuelita, dale un consejo a su hija." And she looks at me, she goes, "¿A Magdalena?" And I said, "Yes." I said, "Sí, sí, dale un consejo a su hija." And she goes, "¿Por qué? ¿Está bien? No necesita consejos." And I thought that was so funny. I was like,
Yeah,
"Abuelita," I'm like, she feels that her daughter is where she needs to be. And she said, "I don't have any advice for her because she's done very well. I'm very proud of her." And I was like, "Oh, that's so sweet." So I haven't shared it with anyone. So now what I'm doing is I'm grouping them. And for every time the kids have a birthday, I give them their advice from their great grandmother.
that's beautiful. A- and you capture the essence of her personality, because that
Yes.
comment was her. when when you listen to that, it was like it's her, and that's
Oh, yeah.
the treasure of it, not just the written
Facial
part of.
expressions. Yeah. Her facial expressions. Yeah, it's so, I love watching those videos. It hurts, but it's so like, I'm so glad I have that with her.
Moving back to the insurance business,
Yes.
what trends are you seeing in insurance industry business owners should be paying attention to? I mean, one of the main questions I got around insurance is, I don't need it, I'm fine.
Mm,
And no one needs insurance until they need it. and that's the problem. What do business owners have to pay attention in insurance?
Well, what I'm seeing is there's two things to keep an eye out for when you're a business owner. Can your business continue if you're not there? So when I talk to a business owner, I'm like, is your business secure enough to where if tomorrow you're not here, will the business continue? Or will it be a burden on your family and they have to shut it down and deal with all the debt and all the issues? And a lot of business owners, we're so busy in the business, growing it and making deals, and that we don't think of as something as simple as what in the industry we like to call key life insurance, key person life insurance. So if I'm the head of my insurance agency, I have employees and I have people that depend on this job. If I'm not here tomorrow, what is it gonna look like for everybody else? My family and also the employees that I have that help me run the business. So when you take out a key person life insurance, with that life insurance, business pays the policy, okay? So the business is the owner of the policy, and then when something does happen to the key person, that policy is there in place and accessible to replace the key person if need be, get me another insurance broker like for me so that the business doesn't have to shut down because my license holds the business, right? Everyone under me can't write if I don't have if I'm the broker is not present on the license. So it can replace that key person or it can fund the business to where you can take time to if you need to close it and dismantle it and then get everyone some severance so they can find other jobs in 6 months. So making that decision and asking yourself that question, if I'm not here tomorrow and I'm the business owner, what's going to happen to everyone that depends on me? So that's the main.
That that's specifically something that at least small business owners as myself, we don't think it. I mean, it's just like when I'm on these numbers, when my revenue is over $10 million for a year, and I'll look for an option like that. But you gave us three tips that are amazing. The first one is if you got someone under you, that's
Mhm.
dependable on you. So you should think on the people you have under you. Even though if there are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 20, 30, 50 people, you have to think on how to. The second one is the business. If in your case you have the license, in my case, I have the experience and the firm and all the trajectory to understand HR and all our process, our HR process and all the laws and all the contacts and everything. Well, if you die or something happens,
Mhm.
people will be out of jobs.
Exactly.
So you need to think of them. And at the third time, it's when we are small business owners, we, at least I and some people that I have talked with, we think that I have to pay for it. But no, it's the business that should pay for
Exactly.
it.
Yeah.
That's three keys that I'm taking from that because yeah, it's really important. And it doesn't matter how big is your or small is your business.
Mhm.
If you have people dependent on you, if you got responsibilities that keep the business growing and you get the cash flow in your business because you are growing in order to pay it, go for it.
Exactly. The other thing to think about is it's not that expensive. A term life policy is not that expensive because that's what it's for. It's I call it the oh, you know, bad word. I don't know if I can say it. The oh damn it money, because if something happens, that covers it. It is you can get a good amount of money. Like I just had a client who is a DJ and she does corporate events. She's very popular and goes all over the world, all over the US doing a disc jockey. She has a mortgage, she has a car payment and a family. The key thing was if she were to pass away, she's a primary breadwinner. So if something were to happen to her, she needs to be able that they can take care of the mortgage, take care of the bills, and then have a little bit left over. But I told her term, especially once you're 40, the whole life can get more expensive. So term life is inexpensive and you can get large amounts. So you can get up to like 500,000 for not less than $100. So it's not even that expensive. So that's also an important thing to remember is that term life insurance is not doesn't break the bank.
Definitely. These numbers are something that we could pay, but we didn't have it on our top of the mind. It
Exactly.
wasn't something that I was thinking of, but now that I'm having the, I'm saying, well, for $100 monthly, well, I can think of my employees and the company moving forward. Now that I'm married and I have family, well, something that can provide for my family if I'm not here, where they can receive that income. Even if I'm not here, someone else could enter, operates, and they will profit from those benefits, right? In in something to think about it. Thinking about leaders, I know with your podcast and what we're talking about decision makers. For you, Serena, what's a good leader? What do you look for in a team or in terms of leadership? When you are looking for someone or you are listening to someone, how do you identify a leader?
Well, I think a leader is not afraid to take risk and is willing to listen to the group. And I always look back at when I was in education, worked for in Texas, state is divided into regions, and every region takes care of the school districts in that region. So from elementary to high school. And I had a boss, her name was Yvette, and she was like the epitome of a great leader. One of the things I always tell her when I grow up, I want to be just like you because she was a great listener. She would listen intently and take notes and then give her suggestions in a way that didn't make it sound like I was in trouble or I didn't know what I was doing, but more of us as a suggestion to how to make myself a better employee. So a leader leads with intention. It's not a regañada. It's a how can we work together to make this better experience for our clients? Because ultimately, in education, our clients are our students or the teachers that we service. That was real important to me, and I always look to her as a reference to what a great leader is.
No, and I love that definition because I will say words that you didn't say, but a great leader is a humble person that knows where their strengths are and where are the areas where it needs help and needs to team with a group of people in order to deliver the best service possible. That's something that I take because it's amazing. Sometimes I believe wrongly that I can do everything in my company, that I can lead and I have all the answers. But the real thing is that no, that's my ego talking. The real thing is that I have hired better people than me in certain areas, and that's why they are working there, and I have to listen them in order to serve better.
Exactly.
And one of the key words for me that I take from what you said is to serve the client, to serve, to
Mhm.
serve, to serve. Because when we have this on our mind, then we can deliver what is expected and more. And that's why
Ex-
in our customers.
Definitely. Even when I think of my clients, my business owners, which is primarily those are my clients. I always start with a business owner and then it ends up trickling into their personal home and auto and life. But when we're talking about business, so I don't when I go at them and I say they ask me questions, they're like, "Serena, I think I need insurance." And most business owners really don't know what they need. They're like, "I think I need to cover my professional liability," because a lot of people, especially if like you're a coach or you're giving a service advice, so I always go at it with how can I make your business more secure? That way you don't have to worry. Because I work with a lot of business owners that have a lot on their plate. And the last thing they need to do is read their policy to make sure that their subcontractors are covered. But that's my job to help them understand what they have and make sure that they're covered.
Definitely. If you could return to a 20-year-old Serena, and if you have her in front of you, what would you tell her?
Well, let's see. 20-year-old Serena, I would definitely tell her you're way more capable than you think you are. I think I had more doubt in my 20s and less confidence. So I'd be like, trust your instinct and just go for it. Do your dreams.
I love that. I always like to ask this question because for the young audience that is listening, they can take this advice for themselves. So 20-year-old people that are here, women that are listening to, they will say, okay, I have to be more confident. I have to believe in my dreams. I have to go for it.
Mhm.
20s are for that, to make mistakes
Yes.
and to then step ahead and learn from them and build and build and build.
Yeah,
I love it. Thank you for that.
definitely.
Serena, we are running out of time, unfortunately, because I've been loving our conversation.
Yeah.
Before we end, I want to tell you three key takeaways that I'm taking from this conversation. First one is regarding insurance. Insurance is more than a product. It's a tool for empowerment, clarity, and peace of mind. As business owner, there are things that I don't know that I need, but after this talk, I know that I need a lot of things. So I appreciate that for helping us understand with better clarity about insurance. The second one is about your podcast. I love motivation. The purpose of why you are doing this, I really loved it. I'm going to become a follower after this.
Thank
Believe me,
you.
I'm going to hear it. Motivation is a daily mindset.
Hmm.
And what if we're able to listen to others and learn from them, then that's wisdom. You are putting there this podcast that will help us to have wisdom. So I'm thankful for that. The third thing is the leadership, like building trust through education is how we can transform fear into confidence for our clients. So this is one of the most important things, like how we can use what we got in order to serve others, uh, especially the persons that we have on our team, and then our clients, internal clients and external clients, in order to deliver service, but always be serving. So, um, a final note, if you want to tell the audience.
Well, talk about insurance because sometimes we insure things like our iPhones, but we don't insure our lives. Also, to know that time is money and I protect both. So that's what I'm here for, is to help you shorten that time on stuff that you don't want to read and do and protect your money.
Great, Serena. If anyone wants to follow you or contact you, how can they do it?
Well, I'm on all social media, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. It's pretty simple. It's serenamiranda.networth. My website is networthlife.com. Those are the best ways to get a hold of me.
Great. We will also put them on the description, so you can just click the link and get in contact with me, with Serena. Don't forget to tune into Let's Talk Motivation, available on all platforms for weekly inspiration, real talks, and encouragement to keep moving forward. Make sure you follow Serena Miranda on LinkedIn and Instagram for typical tips of insurance, business, and stay motivated. And of course, subscribe to Mente Hispana for more inspiring conversation. Share this episode with someone who is building a dream and needs both protection and motivation. Serena, thank you very much for having you here in
Thank
the show.
you.
It's been amazing.
Wonderful. And I'd love to have you on my podcast and learn more about your business because that
Of
sounds really
course.
interesting.
Yeah, of course. Count with me. Whatever you need me, I'll be there. So, to everyone listening, keep building, stay protected, and we will see you next time. Thank you very much.